What's good, everybody? What's good? This is your boy JTL, aka Out from the North 18, back with another one. Now, this is a sad, very sad situation, and I'm gonna have to talk about this from two different angles. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to be honest about some things, whether people like it or not, because maybe this can help change the trajectory of what's going on in our community. But before I get started, I need you to do me a favor. Okay, so this story comes from DC. DC arrests city employee over shooting of 13-year-old. This is by the Washington News, and it says police arrested a DC employee Tuesday over the fatal shooting of 13-year-old that has roiled community passions. Jason Lewis, a longtime Parks and Recreation Department employee, turned himself in Tuesday morning to face charges of second degree while armed. Lewis hit Karon Blake on January 7th around 4 a.m. across the street from the middle school Blake attended. The shooting prompted a fierce community response, with Metropolitan Police Department Chief Robert County facing intense public pressure to either arrest the shooter or reveal their identity. Lewis, 41, was ordered held without bond until February 13th. Court appearance. The investigation took the amount of time that it needed to take, County said. There was somewhat of a self-defense claim that needed to be overcome. The charges don't hinge directly on the shots that deleted Blake, but rather to an earlier shot that Lewis didn't mention in his initial statement to police. The arrest warrant acknowledges that Blake was part of a group of youths apparently robbing parked cars, and that Blake apparently ran straight at Lewis before he opened fire from his property. But it charges Lewis with setting off the violent chain of events with the earlier shot that he fired, one which County said was not part of the initial discussion that we had when Lewis made his original statement to police. County said multiple residents on the block came forward with video evidence from their own security cameras. The arrest warrant delves into a chilling level of detail from that footage, including Blake pleading after he was shot. Blake then can be heard yelling, "I'm sorry," numerous times, followed by "please don't" and "no" numerous times. "I'm a kid and I'm only 12 years old," numerous times, it states. That footage hasn't been publicly released, showed Blake and his companions emerging from what turned out to be a stolen car and breaking into parked cars in Lewis, Brooklyn neighborhood. The warrant claims they had flashlights, they were peering into cars, and they were going into the cars, County said. Lewis is charged with firing first at the young man who remained seated in the stolen car. In the confusion after the first shot, Blake apparently ran directly at Lewis and was fatally wounded. The first shot was fired at someone sitting in the vehicle who wasn't an immediate threat. This original shot, when Lewis had no claim of being personally under threat, was where things really unraveled and put the chain of events into that place that resulted in Blake's death, County said. "I don't know if Blake knew that Mr. Lewis was standing where he was standing," he said. The police chief encouraged the youths who were with Blake that night to come forward to police with their own testimony, but he stopped short Tuesday of promising any sort of amnesty for criminal charges. "My assessment is that these young men obviously need some sort of intervention," he said. "I want to make sure they get what they need," a statement from Lewis' attorney. Lee Smith maintained his innocence and said, "While this is certainly a tragedy, once all the facts are heard, I believe that a jury will find that there was no crime here." Unfortunately, this is the young man right here. So now I want to go ahead and show the young man's mother speaking out. She had something to say.
Of the day it was, despite like all of that. You know, children are children. You know, some of them grow up too fast. Some of them do things that they're not supposed to do. And some of us parents are not aware at all times. What I can say is that Karan came from a good home, and I tried my best with him, you know. But Jason Lewis, he ain't had no right. He had no right. It could have went a whole different way, you know. And it's like everybody is like, what is he doing out at 4 a.m.? Like, would y'all feel better if it was at 4 p.m.? A crime is a crime, and that's just that. He took my baby, my firstborn, and it's messed up. But I gotta live with that. But I really hope that I get justice for my child, and I hope that this man is convicted to the highest. Justice for Karan.
Amen.
Okay, so now let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's have a real conversation from both angles of this situation. Now, I want to start off with the situation of what the mother said about people having a problem with her child being out about 4 p.m. a 12, 13-year old. That's where the first problem starts. Question begins to be, even after if the man gets second degree whatever charge, where was you at? Does he come from a single parent home? Where's the father at? Was she out and about? Was she asleep? Was she at work? These are the things that we got to talk about. Because in another part of it, they started shortly, but another part of it, she says he was the man of the house. How's a 12, 13-year-old considered the man of the house? It always starts at home with the parents. What was going on? Now, people may not want to hear that, but you have to think. If he was able to be out of his house that time in the morning, what's going on? Where's the parental guidance? We have to start there. That's where he lives at. That's where his parent is at. So how is he running the streets at 4 o'clock in the morning? Now let's talk about this other part. How does he get with those friends? Has those been his friends? Does she know those are his friends? They get with the friends and they going around trying to break into cars at 4 in the morning. Now let's move to Mr. Lewis. He heard something. He grabbed his legal firearm and go outside, see people breaking into cars. I seen one report that said they was allegedly they was trying to get into his car at one point. He pops one in the air. They started trying to drive off. Then her son comes toward him and he shoots. He fires. So I don't know if he was able to hear the kid or not, but he fires. And then he tries to help, calls the ambulance, and then he tries to resuscitate the young boy. Now, this is still sad. It's terrible. But we have to start asking these questions so we can actually do something about it. Now, they always say what black men do and don't do. It's sad, but you got to understand something. DC, boy, you got to be careful about DC, bruh. So we can't sit and act like our young boys ain't out there in the streets. Some of our young boys in certain communities, especially like a DC, like a Detroit, like a Chicago, like a Atlanta, like a Texas or Dallas, like out there in LA, like in a Miami, like in a Orlando. We can't sit there and act like our young boys ain't out here doing stuff. So who can we hold accountable if we don't hold the parents accountable? Got to ask those questions. What do we do? Because that young boy shouldn't have been able to come and run the streets doing that and then ultimately losing his life. Yeah, those other young boys need some intervention, but so do them damn parents, because them young boys should not be able to be out running the streets. So we need some intervention with the parents. And all my years of dealing with the youth in the community, we had to address the parents. There's only so much you can say to a child. You got to address them parents. And we've seen a lot of situations came from home, the parents. So if y'all really want to start making some changes, we need to start addressing these parents and what the hell y'all got going on, because this young boy shouldn't be losing his life, and this other man should not be taking his life and now facing with second degree or whatever degree he's facing for trying to protect his home and property. Let's keep it real, y'all. This your boy JTL, aka Opposite from the Norm. Make sure y'all check in with me. You know what I mean? Doing something every day. And if you haven't got a chance yet, make sure you go over to Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Same name, Out From The Norm 18, the number 18. Go over there and follow me too. All right? I'll let you boy. Chill.